Okay, so I'm down here at the house pad today. I just cleaned up this back row a little bit more. This is where the back footer is going to go. I'm trying to get it down a little bit so that the lower this elevation is, the less fill has to be out front. And I'm trying to keep it to where an 8-foot retaining wall will kill this, which that's about 8 foot right now. And I can obviously slope it back more once I get the wall in. So there'll be actually be a 9-foot wall here because the finished floor will be up a foot inside of that finished wall so that I can get my PEX heating and stuff in there, which will be just right. And then back in there, behind that stump, I'm gonna dig another retaining wall in and put like a 4-foot block wall in, kind of open that up a little bit above the house, make kind of a yard. I'm thinking about where that dirt pile is where I'll have the well put in. And then if you look, see right there, actually no, right there, see that dead tree sticking up? Right through there, I've got to clear a 40-foot right-of-way today. Yeah, there it is. 40-foot right-of-way. 200 feet, 250 feet to the next power pole so that I can get power brought in. I'm gonna have the power dropped right in the middle of that brush pile, the end of that clearing, and then I'll trench in power. And then when I trench in, I can bring the water in with it and get electric back out to the well. So all that'll work. And then what I'm thinking is I need to have my cousin come in with the excavator. We're going to move all this out and put the septic right about where this bank is and drain fields that way. We'll clear that with his excavator. Hopefully I can get the footers in next week, but the pad has just been a little too wet to bring gravel and rock in this week. You can see the trenches here. Let me show you. You can see the trenches where I brought the first load in. I almost got stuck, couldn't hardly get turned around. Well, there's my first load of fill. I need about 15 of those in here to do the pad and probably 10 more to do the driveway. So try to get started on that as soon as I can. But for right now, I'm going to get up in there and start clearing my right of way for the power. At least that way I can maybe get something done in this video.
So this is how far the power is going to have to run. It'll be about parallel with the machine, but up in the woods about 15 yards or 10 yards. So it feels longer than it actually measures off. It measures off about 260 feet. And the power company will provide you 300 feet for a new service for free, except you have to clear the right-of-way at your own cost. They want a 40-foot wide easement for the power service to come in so that no trees are falling on the line. This is the power pole where they will take the service off of. And generally they want one straight line, but there is an exception where they will do a slack loop, put in a pole that can be up to 40 feet off the main line, and then they will go in a straight line for 300 feet. So that's what we're gonna do here.
Okay, I'm getting a little done, but it's very hard because almost every tree up here is a hickory tree. So this is a hickory. And for those of you that don't know, this is what hickory trees do. You try to push them over and the stump, the roots just will not pop out of the soil. And the tree is made of like rubber fibers, man. They just won't break off. And I just push and dig with this flat tooth bucket and cannot get them to pop out. So I got Isaac coming down to go help me find my tooth bucket. My root bucket. It's like a V-shaped bucket for popping roots out of the ground, which you'd have thought I'd have brought to begin with, but I couldn't find it this morning. I looked in all the usual places, never did find it. And then while struggling with this, I remembered where I left it. So he's coming to get me. We're going to go load it by hand, hopefully, and bring it down here. And, but once you're in here, it's a lot closer than what it looks like on the road. So have the pole right there's the opening for the building pad. not the pad, but the yard and the opening, you know. Have the pole about right there. And we just got to get this all cleared out. 40 feet wide. So from about that tree to about that tree is what I'm going to clear, and hopefully they let me by with it, because I don't want to take out my big trees, just taking out all these saplings. And we'll come show you how far back we have to go. And then those hickory trees that don't pop out, then when your rubber tracks of the machine get on the parts that are laid down, it's just like ice. You slide off of them, which is a bummer. But we gotta just keep clearing till we get to right here, probably right in here. And we can see that pole. They said they can do 60 feet, a slack loop, they call it. So I'm hoping they don't make me take out these two big trees. I probably will have to take out this white oak here, and those two tops are grown together, so they're probably going to say that's not a clearing. So I probably will have to take out one of those trees, which is a bummer. But we'll see. They're so high up, maybe I can just limb this one with my pole saw and skid steer and then go that way. 60 feet isn't as far as you think, so let's count out the steps. So 20 strides would be 60 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 18, 20. So yeah, 20 will kill that. No problem. You know, we're gonna have to take out that center tree right there. Put the pole about where it's at, and then go on in. If they make me clear that tree, maybe I'll just get up high enough to cut that one branch off. We'll see. All right, let's get the root bucket and we'll get back to work.
As I already stated, hickory trees are the hardest to push out, followed by elm trees are pretty hard and locust trees are pretty hard, but there are some species that come out real easy. Cedar trees are the easiest tree to pop out. Then dogwood and oak and maple are all less hard than the hickories and the elms, but unfortunately, almost everything in here was a hickory tree, so we're having to dig down, find a taproot, and pop them out. And it's also odd because on camera, it never shows how steep the terrain is. This is actually a hillside. It's probably a little steeper than what you'd feel comfortable riding a lawnmower on to cut the grass. So it sure looks flat, but it's not. It's about probably a 5 to 512 slope on this hillside, meaning 5 inches of rise for 12 inches of run if you were going to measure how much slope there was on this hillside.
Okay, I'm quitting on this for the day. Gonna have to cut this tree down, and maybe one or two, maybe more, I don't know yet. But anyway, they can set a pole about where the skid steer is here, and then I've got this whole thing cleared out today. That's what I did. It was probably not worth the wear and tear on my skid steer to do it, because this is a steep hillside and almost all the trees in here were hickories. They're so hard to pull out, it's unbelievable. But I got a pretty good wide path all the way to the clearing. We'll see what they say. And hopefully I can clear it up and grade it some more here before too long. Get it to where I can keep it mowed. So that'll work. A little bit of progress today, not a whole lot. It was rough, but thanks for watching. And subscribe on your way out.